Why the fuck am I playing this?
Welcome to the worst mistake that you've ever made. But since you're here, let's talk about some video games. My name is Tofu the Survivor, and it's my review show. And if you don't know the name of it, I thought you'd like to know that it's Tofu Game Time, and it's my review show. If I could sing a better theme song, I wouldn't be doing this. But we're stuck with Tofu Game Time, that's how it'll always be. It's time for another episode. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Welcome back to Tofu Game Time, everybody. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Katamari Damacy on the PlayStation 2 game console, and to me this is a very special game. This game kind of walked into my life and many other lives in the mid-2000s and turned everybody onto their head with how zany and wacky this game was. This was like the amount of zaniness that you would only find traditionally in an actual Japanese import, but Namco spared us the hassle of having to actually import this one and decided to bring it stateside to North America. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right into this.
Katamari Damacy.
This game is awesome. There are cows, rainbows, clovers, the king of all cosmos, and his space bulbs flying away. One stork, another stork. That's two storks total, by the way. It is amazing. Ducks, giraffes, a volcano with rainbows, an elephant, white ducks. And if you're not impressed by this, and I need to explain any further, I'll just go ahead and show you something different, because this game is awesome. Oh, and marijuana leaves. But this game really is awesome. Just look at this. It's simple in its nature. You just roll around and you pick stuff up. And as you roll around, your Katamari is going to collectively grow with all the junk you're rolling up. It's a very simple concept in nature, and it's also enjoyable and fulfilling at the same time. But the big question that remains is, why are we rolling up so much useless junk into a giant ball? And there's an answer to that. In this game's universe, there is a royal family who rules the cosmos of space and time. The royal family, and of course the one who stands out the most from them, is the king of all cosmos. And one night in a drunken stupor, he decided it would be a good decision to go out and just destroy the entire night sky, the moon and the stars, and the constellations. And so, as the prince, we are left with the task of re-rolling the entire night sky.
So how does this game control? Well, looking at the gameplay, you wouldn't think that this is a very hard game to control just watching a guy roll a giant ball around and pick stuff up. But this game actually uses a twin-stick control scheme where you use the sticks to go opposite ways to turn, much like how I described it many years ago, a retarded RC car. But thankfully for all the players who start this game, there is a tutorial level that teaches you how to do all of the basic maneuvers that you would need to know to navigate all of these courses. And so that way you're not just thrown into this timed level and you feel a little bit pressured. But once you do hit the first level, you will feel a little bit pressured with how hectic the immediate scene is. But you have to learn that this game is trying to beat a brutal lesson into your head, is that you will never be perfect at anything you do, and you will never make anyone happy, and that your parents will always be disappointed in you 100%. Orange juice.
100% オレンジジュース
The variety of objectives in this game, though, is a little bit lacking. There's not a whole lot to do. Every challenge either boils down to make a star or make a constellation. The first one, making a star, just be roll up a bunch of junk within a certain amount of minutes and please the king. And the second one being make the constellations, which is roll up a certain type of junk within the allotted limitations and try to make the king happy. But the end result is the king will never be happy. He'll always thirst for more.
Some of the challenge courses in this game are just top-notch. The constellations are the shiny points of this game, especially when you make Ursa Major.
For this constellation, the king's just going to ask you to roll up one whole bear. That's it. He just wants one bear.
What? No. What the fuck? Okay, this time I think there is actually something legitimately wrong with this game. Oh, come on! What the fuck was it this time?
After failing to make an adequate Ursa Major, I decided I'd try making Taurus to see how that turned out.
So have you guys been listening to it throughout this whole review?
Listening to how fucking gay you are?
What's going on in the background? I'm not talking about the sounds of people as you maniacally roll them up and they scream as you're about to throw them into the sky and make them explode so that you can bring back the stars. No, I'm talking about that fucking soundtrack. Top notch. Just listen, I'm gonna turn the volume up right here, and you guys are just gonna hear.
So, my point being, the soundtrack in this game is amazing. And if you love this game, you're pretty much going to love the soundtrack inevitably. And it's an issue you're going to have to come to terms with in life, as one day, emergency services have to kick down your door, only to discover that you're slobbering over a Dakimakura, and you're dead. They'll see the belt around your neck and realize you were trying to jack off to anime. Because you're a weeaboo. A filthy weeaboo. But on a lighter note, I would love to know in the comments which waifu you have on your Daki, and I will not judge you. Maybe. The next part of this video contains spoilers! Now earlier I mentioned that this game's story was primarily about the King of all Cosmos destroying the night sky. He destroyed the stars and the constellations. Well, if we've rolled all those back up, then what's left to make?
Oh, there's Top Shell Island already.
The answer to that question is the moon. The final task that this game gives you is recreating the moon. And so it starts you with this 1 meter big murder ball that over the course of 25 minutes you have to collect as many things as you can, which essentially is just destroying the planet. And it's fantastic to see the scale of things in comparison to where you start and where you end up at after the end of this 25 minutes. You go from rolling up common things, garden objects, fruits, up to people, then cars, and then you work your way to buildings, pieces of land, and it's just phenomenal, like the scale that they were looking at getting when they first started this project that they ended up with. When I first began this game, I knew hardly anything about it. I was in a fresh mindset. But entering this final challenge, I would have never imagined how large the Katamari would be by the end of this one level. And to this very day, it's an experience I'll never forget. It blows my mind remembering the first time I got this thing to be almost the size of the planet. Well, in fact, the size of the moon, because that's what we're rolling, but that's why I say this is a game that will be hard to forget. Because destroying an entire planet with this fantastic murder ball is a really hard thing to block from your mind. You're making the moon with everything on Earth. Making the moon in Katamari Damacy is one of the greatest designs of modern gaming that I think developers have accomplished at Namco. And I think that it's a goal that everybody should try to accomplish at some point. It's very appealing for some reason. The 25 minutes of mayhem allotted are unforgettable. And sure, you're not going to remember every scream of every person that you're rolling up as you destroy their life. It's satisfying. When I reached the end of my Katamari journey for the first time, I also felt sad. It was a very deep sadness within me that it was over. And I wasn't sure if I'd ever get to feel that same joy ever again. I wasn't sure if gaming would ever deliver me that same feeling of being this ruiner of worlds ever again, but yet presenting it in such a happy way with the most upbeat music and bright colors and visuals. I was unsure about myself if I would ever feel the same way again. And that's the most saddening part about this game, is beating it. You don't want Katamari Damacy to end. You just want it to keep rolling on and on, like the eternal murder ball it is. But just like all great things, Katamari Damacy does come to an end. Probably just like how our universe ends at some point, except in my theory though, and I'm just going to throw something out there for fun, I don't think at the end of our universe it's a restaurant or a space baby. No, I have a different idea. My theory suggests that at the end of the universe is a space weeaboo floating sullenly by himself, hugging his Dakimakura waifu tightly while crying himself to sleep, governing why so many people are depressed around our universe. Mostly just Earth, but assuming for the rest of everybody, I'm going to be the spokesperson for this, that why everybody else is depressed is because of this greater weeaboo floating at the end of the universe with an obsession for waifus. And really, I think that is just where everything ends. The creator of life... Oh, shit! That's all there is to it. I just figured out who fucking God is. Oh, shit! Kami-sama!
In my honest opinion, I think that Katamari Damacy is an extraordinarily immortal game in terms of what people will look back on many years to come from now, decades where people will be looking at what were the best top 20, top 30 games for systems such as the PS2, and I think right here that Katamari Damacy will definitely be one of the ones that people look back and classify as the top tier of gaming for the PlayStation 2. But just in case not everybody agrees, what does everybody else think?
Golf! Golf! This game has no golf in it! This game has no...
Shut the fuck up! Alright, well anyways guys, thank you for watching Tofu Game Time. I will see you on the next episode.